Your community, your elections. WBRC, You Decide 2025.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to our You Decide 2025 coverage live from the heart of this BD newsroom here at the WBRC First Alert Desk. I'm Jonathan Hardison, happy to be with you for the next half hour or so. We're going to take these results in live as we get them, and we already have some significant races to call. Let me get you straight to the numbers you're seeing if you're following us along on our WBRC.com site, our You Decide 2025 coverage. In Homewood, the new mayor is Jennifer Andrus. She's a city councilor who is now shifting over to run for mayor. She wins by a pretty healthy margin over educator and former congressional candidate Robin Lydecker there, and all the wards have been called here. Paul Simmons is going to win Ward 1, that's West Homewood area. In Ward 3, we're going to a runoff. 4 candidates there. It'll be down to John Manzelli versus Chris Lane. The runoff to come in September in that race. In Ward 4, it's Winslow Armstead up and winning over Kristen Williams. He will take that seat. And incumbent, the only incumbent running from the old council. Remember, we're shifting governance structure in Homewood now, right? It used to be 12 people on the council. Now there will be 5, including the mayor. Nick Sims was a councilor before. He will now continue to be a councilor in Ward 2. He beats J.J. Thomas to retain a seat, if you will, in Homewood, even though it'll be a new system of government. Their city manager taking over in Homewood. But again, that new council is all but set except for Ward 3, where we're going to have a runoff there between John Manzelli and Chris Lane coming up in Homewood. Hoover's mayor's race is something we're keeping a close eye on. We'll get to that in a second. How about the biggie? And that is in Birmingham. Traditionally, it takes a while for us to get those results in Birmingham. Let me just scroll up for you here. Take a look at our website results here, and we're still waiting. By the way, Fultondale, let me highlight that for a second. Jim Lowry is going to come back to the office he held until 2020 when Larry Holcomb beat him. Now the roles are reversed. Holcomb had some issues with an ethics complaint this summer. He ran for re-election but has been handily beaten by his former opponent, Jim Lowry, who's coming back now to be mayor of Fultondale. Again, you see a couple of races in Fultondale called in those council races as well. Hey, Fairfield's going to have a new mayor. Eddie Penny's leaving. Who will fill that seat? We're not sure yet. Waiting to get some results there. I'm just scrolling up here to Birmingham where we have 9 candidates running, including the incumbent mayor. But usually in Birmingham, those results are late arriving. And as you see here in District 8, only 1 of 13 boxes are in. We're starting to get some trickle in here. In District 9, the time you take the incumbent is getting some results there. It's still early. How about in the mayor's race? There you go. 1 of 68 boxes are in. Birmingham Mayor Wendell Woodfin with a comfortable lead, but much counting still to go in that race. So let's get to Josh Gant, our reporter here. Let me see if I can make sure I hit all the correct buttons, Josh. There's Josh Gant live at the election headquarters of Wendell Woodfin. Josh, I hope you can hear me. Tell me what you're seeing on the ground there.
Yeah, hey there, Jonathan. It's a big party atmosphere here at Woodfin's headquarters. We're at Wordplay downtown. You mentioned some of those early results. Just put some of those up on the screen here, and everybody started cheering. Now, it is very early, though, so we still essentially have a long way to go here. 62% right now that Woodfin has. But as I mentioned, a party atmosphere. You know, Mayor Woodfin hoping for a third term. He's seeking a third term. There's 2 other currently people in office. State Representative London Gavan and Jefferson County Commissioner Lucinda Scales, who are also running in this race. As we mentioned, there's also a handful of other candidates as well, some business people and some community activists. Now, this has been a very heated mayor's race in the past several months. It has really played out on social media. We have seen the Facebook Lives. We have seen the memes. We have seen pretty much everything on social media, all leading to today. Mayor Woodfin says that violent crime down in this city. Homicides are down 50%. Crime and public safety, we know those are big issues here in the city of Birmingham. But some of his other opponents, though, they question the mayor on that, and they have released some of their own public safety plans as well. But right now, very early, Mayor Woodfin with the lead here. We'll have to see if he continues to hold that as we get into later on into tonight. But you can see behind me, the room starting to fill up behind me on the podium there. That's where eventually the mayor will come out and speak. But it says stronger, safer, together. And those are some of the things that he's talked about on the campaign trail as well. That'll do it for now. I'm Josh Gant, WBRC 6 News on your side.
All right, Josh, thanks so much for giving us that result from from down there at Majority Worthman headquarters. Let's get you some new numbers on Hoover. The mayor's race in Hoover are very close. We've got 6 precincts in so far. Nick Durzis, the police chief, leading incumbent Mayor Frank Brocato, 1,009 votes to 901. Still getting those results into our website. We'll have those up in just a second, but that just hot off the presses there, okay? So Nick Durzis with a small, like 100 vote lead in a tightly contested Hoover mayor's race we expect to take quite a while to decide. Speaking of the Hoover mayor's race, let's bring in Lauren Hardison, who is our reporter on that race. Lauren, tell me what you're seeing down there at Frank, I believe you're at Frank Brocato headquarters, am I right?
Yeah, Jonathan, that's right. We are here at incumbent Mayor Frank Brocato's watch party. We've got tons of friends and family here behind me. If you want to take a look, there's about 65 people here. You know, they're all there toward the back, just chatting, enjoying some pretty good food. Now, Brocato has served as Hoover mayor since 2016, so now he's really running on his record, placing full-time SROs in every school, increasing city reserve funds by double, even adding a $2.5 billion economic impact development at Riverwalk Village. Now, his opponent in the race, of course, Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis, who has served as chief for about 20 years now. He says a recent report shows years of problematic financial reporting, so he wants to ensure every taxpayer dollar will be accounted for and make sure that they are spent wisely. These are just a couple of the things. Now, both of these men have served here in Hoover, lived here in Hoover for over 45 years, so this is expected to be quite a tight race, Jonathan, just as you said. I mean, we've just got a couple hundred votes now. Of course, we are still waiting on a ton more, and so everyone just needs to pay attention. We'll be watching this all night, of course, here in Hoover. So for now, until 9 o'clock on WBRC, your reporter, Lauren Hardison, WBRC 6 News, on your side.
All right, Lauren, thanks so very much. Lauren Hardison there for us at the headquarters of Frank Brocato, who again is at the moment is trailing by about 100 votes, but there is a lot of election still to be decided. Let's go to James Giles for us. James, kind enough to join us from Homewood. James, I'm going to pull you up here. Tell me what you're seeing. You're at the track shack down there in downtown Homewood, where, by the way, this race has been called now. Jennifer Andrus has won the mayorship. Paul Simmons is in Ward 1. Winslow Armstead in Ward 4. Nick Sims in Ward 2. But you're going to have a runoff there in Ward 3, right?
Yeah, Jonathan. Been lots of celebration out here tonight in front of the track shack. We are currently at the watch party for the new mayor, Jennifer Andrus. Lots of cheers tonight, lots of celebrating. It was a larger crowd earlier. The night's been kind of called early, so it's just a lot of hugging and all the celebration happening this night. So just a reminder, this is the start of a new era for the city of Homewood. They just recently shifted their government model from a mayor and council to a council and city manager, meaning that the city council seats will now be reduced from 9 to 4. And a mayor will act as the council president with a acting city manager to handle day-to-day duties to manage the city. Also, I am waiting to speak with the new mayor, Jennifer Andrus. I've heard lots of first-time mayor for the city of Homewood, so lots of big things happening. But as you mentioned, all those races have been called, but we are heading into a runoff for one of those city council seats, so we'll just have to wait and see how that thing pans out. But again, the new mayor of Homewood is Jennifer Andrus, as well as a new host of city councilors in a very new era. But we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, James, thanks so very much. James Giles for us down there in downtown Homewood. Again, the race in Homewood is all but over. They have counted those boxes. They're done here within an hour of the polls closing. But again, a couple of races still to be called in terms of major municipalities in the area. We're watching Birmingham. We're watching Hoover. Let me pull you over to our WBRC.com site here, where we're keeping these results refreshed as soon as we get them. There is Hoover. Now we're getting those numbers in. So here's a new look at Hoover, right? Nick Durzis, the police chief for more than 20 years, challenging his boss, if you will, ostensibly, incumbent Mayor Frank Brocato, and at the moment holds a lead, 57%, let's call it, to 43%, with about 30% of the boxes in. So still a lot of hay to be put in the barn there in Hoover before that mayor's race is called tonight. Let me give you an update at the city council races. Incumbent Derek Murphy is down in his District 5 to Steve Lawrence right now, but again, very early, about 35 of the 100 precinct or boxes to be counted there. In place 3, Ashley Lovell is up, but again, a very low level of reporting. Don't have anything in place 4. In place 1, Robin Schultz is up on Tanvir Patel. Early in that, it says 0 of 100. We got quite a few votes in there, so she's got about a 400 vote lead, let's say, in place 1. And then in place 2, Kenneth Cox up on Gene Smith. Gene Smith, a former Former city councilman who had retired kind of stepped down for a while and is now coming back into that race, back onto the city council, trying to. At the moment, though, he is trailing in that race. We have a call in Anniston. I'm going to take you there in a second. Sierra Smith, who was the vice mayor until May when the mayor stepped down, she took over on an interim basis, was looking to get herself a full term and has, I'm going to show you here, has in fact succeeded. Let me bring you to the Anniston results, and I'd be happy to hit refresh. Okay, still don't have those numbers in yet, but I can tell you Sierra Smith has won the Anniston mayorship. She will take over there. She was facing a slew of competitors, including Ben Little, the former city councilman, who was trying to return back to City Hall, a trip that appears will not be successful, at least this time around. So we have a call in Anniston. We have a call in Homewood. We're waiting to see about Birmingham. While we're waiting, and again in Hoover, Nick Durs is up early over Frank Mercado, but that one has a long way to go yet. Let me give you a look at a couple of other races. We're looking at some changes that could be coming. Let me take you to Trussville. I don't think we have any Trussville numbers yet, but let's go over here, see what I can tell you there. Trussville, of course, is going to have a new mayor. Mayor Choate is retiring, stepping down, deciding not to run for re-election. But in his place, there are 3 challengers there, and what has become a pretty interesting, a little bit of a spicy race here in the last little bit. It is Jefferson County Tax Collector J.T. Smallwood is running in that race. And we're getting some Trussville numbers in. Here we go. There we go. Let me hit refresh just to make sure you got the very latest numbers. All right. So Ben Short up right now with 60% of the votes in, up 50, let's call it 51% over J.T. Smallwood, the Jefferson County Tax Collector. In second, Lisa Bright, who is also a city councilwoman, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check my homework here. She is running in third right now with about 21% of those votes counted. So in Trussville, there is going to be a new mayor to replace Buddy Choate. Yeah, Ben Short and Lisa Bright, both city council members. And at the moment, it looks like Ben Short's in a pretty comfortable position there. But again, we still have quite a bit of votes to be counted in that race. But Trussville mayor heating up there. And it looks like in place 5 and place 4, we're getting some results. So again, as soon as we get these results, we're getting those on here, WBRC.com or WBRC News app. I'm just looking at Vestavia Hills because we've got some numbers there. Ashley Curry is looking for another term at City Hall. He is in a good shape so far. Again, early on there, but he is over leading Richard Cheatwood by a pretty comfortable margin, but only about 2% of the vote in there, so we got a ways to go there. In Hamilton, let me take you up to Hamilton here. I'll show you my ugly mug for a second while we scroll here. In Hamilton, I've got the results. Tammy Williams wins in a squeaker there. The city of Hamilton, Tammy Williams, 752 votes. She beats Wade Williams, who got 703. That is the definition of a tight race. And in Hamilton, it will be Tammy Williams who will win that Hamilton mayorship in a close race there. In City Council Place 2, there's going to be a runoff. Frankie Kerr and Regina Wisecarver. In Hamilton, I'm looking up here if I can find those numbers for you. They're going to be going to a runoff, but again, the mayor's race in Hamilton has been won by Tammy Williams. And let's see, I should be coming alphabetically right up there. Yeah, Tammy, let's see if I can refresh that for you. Still getting those in, but those are fresh off the, we're still putting those in. And Harpersville, we got a couple of results. Hanceville, by the way, this will be an interesting race to track because of all the issues they've had with the police department in Hanceville, basically having to disband it and turn it over to the sheriff's office to police that city for the better part of at least probably a year before it's all said and done. What will happen in Hanceville, that's an interesting race we're going to track for you. We'll come back down here to Helena. Don't have any results in Helena yet, but that's another interesting race we've been tracking. Brian Puckett is not going to be not seeking re-election in Helena. So now you've got 3 candidates, George Pickle, Russ Powers, and Billy Rosner, and one of those people may be the next mayor of Helena. Who is it going to be? We don't have numbers there yet. I mentioned Fultondale briefly. Again, Jim Lowry is returning to City Hall in Fultondale, where he held that seat for I believe it was at least 2 terms. He lost back in 2020 to Larry Holcomb, who was working for the gas board. Holcomb has been defeated now tonight by Lowry, so kind of a flip around there. Holcomb, of course, had some issues. The council actually asked him to resign this summer after he was found guilty of violating an ethics rule regarding the use of a vehicle that belonged to the city utility board, the gas board. He declined, in fact, decided to continue to run for mayor, a campaign that apparently has not been successful. What else are we tracking? Let me get you back up to Birmingham. And the great thing about this is I can just hit I'll show you here, when you hit our site, Birmingham Mayor, there's our updated numbers right here at the top of the screen there. You see Mayor Randall Woodfin, again, very low numbers in so far. And we're also hearing about a lot of low turnout as well across the city of Birmingham. One of our coworkers was voting today and said they were expecting maybe 15% turnout in Birmingham. I'm getting a text from our folks who are down at City Hall, though, saying they are beginning to get some results coming in. So the good news is we may begin to have some results from the mayor's race in Birmingham soon. Fairfield mayor, you see scrolling by there. There's Jim Lowry, who takes that seat, but you see the top of the screen there. We haven't talked about Fairfield yet. Eddie Penny is stepping aside. They've got 6 candidates in Fairfield, one of which is 18-year-old Brandon Moss, one of which is former city councilor Cynthia Turner McDowell. Another is District 4 Councilman Cedric Norman. One of those could be elected Fairfield mayor tonight. We could end up in a runoff. These runoff races, by the way, will be coming up later in September. There's a lot of contested races in Fairfield City Council. As you see the Northport mayor going by, I'm just going to talk about these races as they flip by there at the top of your screen. You see the Northport mayor's race. We are looking for numbers there. Our Brian Henry is out there in West Alabama, as he so often is for us. You've got Jason Barksdale, David Crawford, and Roland Lewis. All right, there's Trussville mayor coming across there, and I said Ben Short, a comfortable lead on JT Smallwood. Ashley Curry looks like he's in good shape in Vestavia, but again, that's just with 2 of the 100 precincts reporting, so certainly way too early to call that race. But again, Ashley Curry, the former FBI agent and the incumbent mayor, looking good so far. Alabaster, you've got Yoko Brown, who's an educator and small business owner, and you got Mayor Scott Brakefield, the incumbent, waiting to keep his seat there. Don't have anything yet in Alabaster. All right, let's go to Pelham now. See if I can take you down to Pelham. Is that, no? Okay. I'm going to have to do it manually here, so bear with me. But I'm getting some numbers from Pelham. I'm just going to read them to you, okay? In the mayor's race, Rick Wash is going to win the mayorship in Pelham 52% to 47%. Just got those. Thank you, Angie. Okay, so let me talk about Pelham for a second. This is going to be the first time they have a new mayor in Pelham in more than a dozen years. Maurice Mercer was the city council president, but he is going to lose to retired police officer and fellow city councilor Rick Wash. You had 2 city council members stepping up saying, hey, I'd like to move from that side of the dais to the mayor's seat. First time they'd have a new mayor in Pelham now in more than a dozen years, and it's going to be Rick Wash who ends up winning that seat in Pelham. So Pelham has a new mayor. They'll give you other council races. In place 1, it's Michelle Power. In place 2, it's Chad Leverett. In place 3, it's Chris Towns, but that looks like that'll be going to a runoff because he's only got 44% of the vote in a 3-way race. The runoff there in council place 3. Same thing in council place 4. It'll be Marcus Snowden and Ron Griggs, I think, in a runoff there. And then council place 5, Michael Harris. So there's the hot off-the-press results. That's what we're trying to give you for live numbers as they come into this newsroom in Pelham. So new mayor in Pelham will be Mayor Rick Wash. And then he will have several council members yet to be decided and some runoffs to come there in Pelham. So changes in Shelby County at Pelham, just down the road there, just down Highway 31 in in Shelby County is also Calera. And Calera is going to have a new form of governance. They're moving to that city council manager sort of phase and trying to handle rapid growth. They approved that plan. It goes into effect after this election. So you have structural changes in how you are governed. In Calera, they're changing to this plan. In Homewood, they're changing to a new city manager form of government. So John Graham, who's been the mayor since 2008, will no longer preside over the council, but he is going to be part of the council, assuming he wins that mayorship. But there's Kenny Dale Cost, who was a city councilor. He's running against him, as are 3 other political newcomers. So Calera is going to have a new form of government. Whether they have a new mayor or not so sure just yet, but we're waiting to see. Let me take you back. I want to see if we can get some new numbers here on the mayor's races that we are trying to find out more about. So in Hoover, we're still waiting to get another round of votes harvested there, but looks like Nick Durzis is still in the lead. In Birmingham, again, same Randall Woodfin with a comfortable lead over LaShonda Scales. Remember, we have 9 candidates here, okay, in Birmingham. So if that's the situation, there's all 9 of them. Randall Woodfin or LaShonda Scales, if they're in the leads right now, the magic number for any of these candidates is 50% plus 1, right? You don't clear that threshold, you do not win the race outright in our state, you go to a runoff. So if you're the Woodfin campaign and you believe you have earned yourself a 3rd term, then you're hoping to clear that hurdle tonight and not head to a runoff. If you're one of these challengers, and at the moment you would think it would be either perhaps Commissioner Scales or Representative Gavan, because just again with early numbers, they are the 2 sitting below him in those numbers. You're hoping to get to a situation where Woodfin is below that 50% number, and you get to take a run at him head-on, one-on-one in a runoff election, a sprint, if you will, over the next few weeks before voters will go back to the ballot, and what would surely be a big turnout operation they'd have to worry about coming up in September. So, again, waiting for some big numbers in Hoover and in Birmingham and Northport. We have not seen any numbers from Northport yet. We're hoping to get those in. We should have those for you soon. Let me go back to the Birmingham City Council race. I'm just going to refresh here as we go, make sure that we're giving you the absolute latest numbers, because you've got several city council races. Our Bria Chapman is down there at City Hall looking at these numbers. And again, it's super early, but let me just show you what we have, okay? In Birmingham Council District 4, Brian Gunn is up with just, let's say, almost 25% of the votes in there. Crystal Smitherman up very comfortably to try and retain her Council District 6 seat, but again, that's only one of 15 boxes being counted. Boardine Alexander is trying to retain her seat in District 7, doesn't have any numbers in yet. In District 8, April Williams barely up on Sonia Smith. You got so many candidates there in District 8, it's very possible, even some might say likely, we're heading to a runoff there. In District 9, LaTanya Tate is trying to hold on there, and at the moment looks like she will. District 3, by the way, is where Valerie Abbott has been serving for more than 20 years and is now leaving the council, so we'll see who decides to take her seat. All right, we got a race to call for you in Clanton. The mayor in Clanton is going to be Jeffrey Doc Price. Has won in Clanton, and that's an upset. I guess you could call it an upset. He beats incumbent Jeff Mims. So Clanton's mayor is changing. Jeff Mims was the mayor of Clanton. He will not be any longer. Jeffrey Doc Price has won that race with a total of 927 votes to 737. So he wins 56% to 44% over the incumbent Jeff Mims. So in Clanton, a change in that race. Let me go ahead and tell you a couple of contested councils there. Ward 1 in Clanton is Billy Singleton with a 64% margin of victory. And in Ward 4, a squeaker, and forgive me, I'm going to try and pronounce this on the fly here, Awalajide Aji is going to win that by 7 votes and wins Council Ward 4 in Clanton. But the headline number from Clanton has a new mayor tonight. Well, once they're sworn in, it's official, but for now, we know Clanton will have a change in the mayor's race. Jeff Mims was the incumbent. He was running for another term. He has been defeated by Jeffrey Doc Price in Clanton. So, change in Clanton, mark that off as we continue to track so many different races for you. Still don't have anything in Fairfield that I can see so far, looking to see about that. In Gardendale, Stan Hoagland is going to continue to be the mayor there. He is unopposed, but there are some contested races on the Gardendale City Council. We'll keep tracking that for you. Again, let me take you back, see if I can get us any updated numbers on Hoover. That's the contested mayor's race looking at so closely. Okay, still waiting to get some numbers in Hoover there. Angie, do we have any updated numbers from Hoover? Okay, still waiting on that, but last check, Nick Durzis was up on Frank Mercado just slightly. And we're going to keep tracking that race for you. Lauren Harkson's down there for us and tracking that. That race will be live with us when our coverage, by the way, continues. I'll be with you here for the next few minutes. Then we'll take a pause and join you on television and live streaming together from our studios, beginning first at 9. Let me see if we can get, I wonder if we can pull up Irondale real quick. That's another race where you've got an incumbent, James Stewart, who is trying to retain his seat and facing a challenger there in Kent Effinger. Irondale, of course, celebrating the news of that new Costco coming in soon, right there off of 459 near those auto dealerships. And has that news carried Mr. Stewart to another term? He would like to think so. I'm looking to see, do we have any numbers? Nothing in Irondale yet. Back to Hoover, still getting the same numbers there. So far, don't have any updated numbers in there, but Irondale is another place we're trying to look. Again, I'm getting texts that say we should be getting some numbers from Birmingham soon. So as soon as we do, I promise we will pass those along to you. I'm just looking at some of the other races. We're looking for Jasper. Mayor Gary Cohen is not running for re-election, so it'll be either Josh Gates. Running for re-election. He was sworn in when Jasper Mayor David O'Mary died last year, so it'll be Josh Gates or Greg Ferris, a new term there. In Leeds, you've got a 4-way race for mayor. We don't have any numbers yet from Leeds. In here, it'd be John Dawson, Michael French, Eddie Moore, or Kenneth Washington. In midfield, Gary Richardson has usually won pretty comfortably. He's got 2 challengers there. We'll see if he can retain that. Let's talk about Mountain Brook for a second. It's not a contested race tonight, but it is a historic one because Graham Smith has been unopposed. She's already, in fact, certified, serving as the city's first ever female mayor. She replaces Stuart Welch, retiring after 2 terms. The council president, Virginia Smith, is stepping down after 25 years. The city manager, Sam Gaston, is retiring after 32 years, and they have that form of government where the city manager basically runs things day to day, which is what you're going to see in Homewood now, which is what you're going to see in some other developing cities. So big changes in Mountain Brook. The city council president stepping down, Graham Smith moving from the council seat to the mayor's position unopposed, and Sam Gaston, a good guy who's been serving Mountain Brook for 32 years, is stepping aside. There'll be a new city manager. So the winds of change blowing there through the Mountain Brook City Hall. Not really a dramatic race tonight in Mountain Brook, but nonetheless a change that we should acknowledge. Again, as we said, change in Pelham. Rick Wash is the new Pelham mayor. We broke that for you a few minutes ago. The retired police officer, he beats his fellow city councilor, Maurice Mercer. Tarrant, let me see, I don't think we have any numbers from Tarrant, but we all know Tarrant is always good for quite a bit of fireworks at those city council meetings. If you're ever bored, head to a Tarrant city council meeting. You won't be for long. Wayman Newton, the incumbent, is facing councilwoman and mayor pro tem Tracy Thedford. By the way, this is a relatively small city, just 6,000 residents in Tarrant, but it certainly outkicks its coverage in terms of the size of attention paid at times to the municipal governments there relative to the size of the city. Will Wayman Newton retain his seat despite some controversies? Will Mayor Pro Tem Tracy Thedford, win that seat? Remains to be seen, but certainly a hotly contested race. Trussville, again, we know Ben Short looks to be in comfortable position there, and I don't think we have a final there. We're about to have to leave you here in a second, so I want to give you the latest numbers before we get out of here. Looking at Trussville, there we go. Pelham, by the way, has been called. We see those. All right, come on down here. Trussville. Short was comfortably ahead of, here's Tarrant, by the way, and we don't have anything yet on Tarrant. Again, some of these races takes a little while to get in. Let me hit the refresh button and give you the very latest. There are some Trussville numbers for you. And again, Ben Short comfortably ahead with about 60% of the vote in there. And Trussville, it appears that he is in a position to perhaps win. But again, he's right there at that 50% threshold there. Doesn't clear that, you're going to a runoff. J.T. Smallwood, the Jefferson County tax collector, just barely in second over the third place Lisa Bright, who's also city councilor as well. All right, in Chelsea, it is a race I think we can call here. Bring it back here for mayor. Cody Summers has won the Chelsea mayorship 1437 to Mike Rochester's 414, replacing Tony Picklesheimer, the longtime mayor in Chelsea. So now it'll have a new mayor. Chelsea's mayor will be Cody Summers. And with that, I unfortunately must leave you for a little while, but you can stay with us on our WBRC News app, our Roku apps, Apple Fire, whatever, but WBRC.com and our WBRC News app. The live You Decide 2025 results that you want are right there ready to go as soon as you need them. We'll have them for you, and we will hopefully be able to get you some updated numbers between now and 9 o'clock when we'll join you first at 9. So for now, from the WBRC Newsroom, I'm Jonathan Hardison. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again.